So this is not your typical father of the bride walk. This is an Orange County deputy walking his daughter down the aisle 1 year after being seriously injured while he was doing yard work at home. The sheriff's office's Facebook page says that the wedding happened over the weekend and it was the culmination of a year's worth of hard work and rehab. Of course, a big congratulations from all of us here at Afternoon Focus to all of them, the deputy and of course the bride and her new husband.
Talk about one of the essential father-daughter moments in life is that walk down the aisle, and the fact that he obviously was badly injured and came back to have that moment is beautiful. And I bet, you know, part of the motivation to get better was to have that moment. That probably kept him going. I'm going to get down that aisle with her. Wow.
I think you're right, Rob.
Oh, man. Well, thanks for being with us, and we start, as we always do here in Afternoon Focus, with the stories from the very top of our feed, and we begin with the biggest concert tour in America. You know this young lady, you know she's on the road, a promise made and kept 5 years later.
That's right. Meet Isabella. 5 years ago, when she was just 8 years old, she was severely burned. And while she was at the hospital, she got a visit from Taylor Swift. And at the time, Swift was on tour, but Isabella had to miss the show because she was still in recovery. Swift's team, though, they remembered. And then fast forward to now, they gave her tickets to the show this next time around.
And Taylor is such a massive star, and this tour is making huge news and big money and going all over. And she's one of the biggest, you know, pop stars on the planet. But still, you know, despite all that success, you know, remembered, you know, that little girl's case and probably made her life by showing up there and remembering.
Right. I'm sure that was probably the most touching part of it all, because we're fast forwarding 5 years later. It's not like it's a month or even a year later. And, you know, team members, who knows if they could change, but the fact that they must have made a note about that, you know, for themselves, that this is important. And when we circle back around, hopefully this young girl will be well enough to attend the show and hopefully really enjoyed it this time.
And I bet Taylor's team stays in touch to monitor her recovery and to keep reaching out as time moves on. So well done. You're never too successful to be compassionate. So Taylor's proven that.
Yes. And speaking of successful, one of America's funny men is taking home a big prize.
Now, you all know this guy, Adam Sandler, the one and only, being honored with this year's Mark Twain Prize for American Humor. This is a video of the ceremony that was recorded last night. It will air Sunday on CNN. A lot of famous people in that room, former co-stars and friends like Jennifer Aniston and Chris Rock, who's also been in the news lately. They were both on hand. Fun to know that Sandler did his first stand-up act way back when, as just 17 years old, and obviously worked out from there. When it's your calling, boom. It sets you on the right path.
Yeah, isn't that the truth? Boy, oh boy, he's talented and been in the game a long time. That's a lot of years to be working the stage.
Yes, I remember Saturday Night Live, Adam Sandler, Happy Gilmore, Adam Sandler, Billy Madison, all that stuff. Well, speaking of high honors, another group of talented actors and musicians will get our nation's highest honor today from President Biden.
National Humanities Medals will be going to Mindy Kaling, Gladys Knight, and Julia Louis-Dreyfus. Bruce Springsteen and Vera Wang will also be recognized. The National Medal of the Arts is the highest American award given to artists, art patrons, and groups that have advanced arts in the United States. And that is a well-deserving group, if I've ever seen one, huh?
Well, I mean, listen, two favorites on that list for me. One, nothing but love for Gladys Knight, one of the great voices of all time. Midnight Train to Georgia, got to mention that as we sit here and tape this in Atlanta. Plus, Gladys and I have a very weird family connection, which I mentioned to her in an interview in New York years ago. Of course, she remembers every word of that interview.
Of course she did.
Of course. It was a changing moment, defining moment of her life. Anyway, but she was wonderful in person, too, which was great. And two, Julia Louis-Dreyfus is like one of my favorite women on the planet. Whether it was like, not just like Veep Julia, Seinfeld Julia, National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation Julia, like whatever she does, I'm there for.
Right. Okay, I have to follow back up. What's the weird family connection with you and Gladys Knight?
It's a long story. She knows my aunt who lives in Silver Spring, Maryland, because one of the Pips, who was her brother, married the sister of the aunt's ex-husband. I'm like, it's complicated.
Pop quiz later on this, folks.
It was a lot. But when I walked Gladys down the family line, she was like, oh, she remembered. It wasn't BS. She remembered. And I was so it was a weird Maryland hip brother marriage thing connection. Yeah, and I brought that up to her.
That's awesome. And just the fact that you got to interview her is awesome.
Yeah.
How
she's
was
so
she?
Cool. Down to earth. Which is exactly what you want to say when you meet someone that big who's been around forever. And she was down home, and just that voice. And she was right before she did a concert in New York. I forget what arena, but she was amazing.
Just so sweet.
Been around
That's
forever.
great to hear.
Oh,
She's
yeah.
just like what you see. I
Yes.
mean, she's such an icon. I mean, she's just.
Yeah. And when I moved here to Atlanta to take this job with Scripps, and I was driving around one day, and this was the moment I said, wow, I live in Georgia. Because I saw the sign that said Gladys Knight Highway. And I was like, I live in Georgia.
You made it, yes.
I live in Georgia. Oh, man. Anyway, congrats to all. Now to a new tool for families with kids diagnosed with ADHD. A pretty high number, more than you think, and astonishing. 10% of kids 13 to 17 struggle with paying attention, even sitting still, following behavioral directions, and all of that can have a major ripple effect both in their home life and their school life.
Sure. And as Lydia Vasquez tells us, she's going to introduce us to a family who's going through that struggle and show us a new treatment, how it can help.
Freya Lewis is 10
There are many different mechanics.
and isn't so bothered by the idea of playing a video game 5 days a week.
I'm on the third world right now.
But it's not your average game. The U.S. Food and Drug Administration recently approved Endeavor RX. It's prescribed for children like Freya, who are between 8 and 12 with ADHD and attention issues.
I do suffer through it a lot. Like, I don't realize that I'm doing something wrong until I'm told that it's wrong.
Amanda Lewis tells me her daughter has struggled with ADHD since she was 4. She says Freya was kicked out of 2 preschools because they didn't know how to help her.
She was hiding under tables. She didn't want to stay still for circle time. She wanted to keep moving and playing and wiggling. And it was such a disturbance that we were constantly getting letters from the preschool.
Since then, Lewis says her daughter has been on medication.
Even though we were doing medication, we still were not able to sit still and really focus.
Until recently, she was prescribed something rather unconventional by their provider, a video game.
The product has been very helpful in reducing reliance on medication. It's not meant to be a replacement necessarily of medication, but as a complement to the entirety of the treatment plan.
Catherine Quinn, a nurse practitioner in South Tampa, says that's especially true considering a shortage of ADHD medications. She tells me the video game is now part of her comprehensive treatment plan for many children with ADHD, including Freya.
She was able to sit and concentrate more. She was able to get more work done and understand that work. And of course, it boosted her confidence.
Important not to give up. Remember that.
Not to give up. Oh, poor thing.
It's true. It's true.
Yeah. Well, this isn't such a bad way to cope, right? You would think kids might enjoy that. You know, most kids are used to getting their video games taken away from them if they act up or go do your homework or play outside. But hey, if this is a way to, help reduce the dependency on medication and serve as sort of a substitute, it seems like a good thing.
Because a lot of parents don't just want to run to the pharmacy for every problem. And if there's a way to do it more naturally or through, then that's appealing rather than, the pill and then you need it forever and then it's just this kind of self-feeding cycle.
Right.
So if there are alternatives, why not at least try it, before you explore other things. So
what's the harm, right?
Right.
Try it if it doesn't work well,
Exactly. Well, all right, friends, it is that time, our favorite part of the show. Get your popcorn ready. These are a few quick stories that we just call stuff that's fun to know. So here we go. Today, we focus on one of the most iconic and odd tourist attractions in America.
Welcome to The Rock.
We're talking about The Rock, the prison in Alcatraz Island, right there in the middle of San Francisco Bay. Certainly famous, infamous, maybe a better word. 60 years ago today, it was closed, and its remaining prisoners all got transferred out. 10 years later, it was open to the public as part of the Golden Gate National Recreation Area. I remember being in San Francisco years ago for a conference, as a teenager or whatever, and we didn't go to do the whole thing, but from a distance, it's just this. You do have when you look at it, you're there. It just. You still get the chills a little bit when you see that.
Huh?
Yeah.
Did you tour it?
We didn't do the
Right,
actual
yeah.
tours. It's from a distance. I was like, let's
That was
go to
enough.
the restaurant instead.
Enough for you.
I'm good.
I don't blame you. Don't blame you there, Rob. No. Well, you know, and it's fun to know, despite the fictional tale of Sean Connery's character in the movie, there were no confirmed successful prisoner escapes. Although 36 prisoners did try, and the urban legend of a trio pulling off the tunnel escape has never actually been confirmed.
Oh, so the stuff of just legend.
People getting out of
perhaps.
Alcatraz. Yeah, no.
Oh, wasn't there a movie, Escape from Alcatraz?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. and one of the most,
Fiction.
fiction. And one of the most infamous prisoners to ever call the Rock home, Al Capone, who played banjo in the prison band.
What?
Let that image carry you through the day, right? The notorious mob boss was among the first residents, in fact, of the prison right there on the island. He reportedly told the warden, Alcatraz has got me licked. And his behavior was so cooperative that he was allowed to take part in concerts for the inmates. Because when you think of Al Capone, you think of musical delights. And there you go.
Who knew? Al Capone playing the banjo.
And very few things could beat Al Capone, but Alcatraz did it. What's that tell you about the place?
Yeah.
And he admitted it?
Did it soften him up a bit?
Wow. Oh,
No.
man.
Wonder if he was good
Yeah.
at the banjo.
Yeah.
I mean, nobody's going to tell him he's not good at
That's
the
the
banjo.
break, yeah.
Like,
Even if he's
everybody's
awful.
going to be like, you were fantastic. You know?
Mr. Capone, look at you. Man, there's more good news ahead here on Afternoon Focus. Coming up after the break, how a couple of moms are giving new life to their kids' old clothes.
There's a time period where they're growing really, really fast. And the crazy thing about waste and overconsumption is like they're not being worn but like three to 6 months. So there's more life in those textiles. Like they can still be used.
Welcome back. Oh, here's something you don't see every day. A highway in Salt Lake City shut down so that a herd of elk could cross. Between 80 and 120 elk were moved from the valley toward the mountains during the planned relocation. And I guess everybody is happy and good to go now, and traffic moving just fine as we understand it.
Very orderly. I must say, they really...
Yeah. Well-behaved elk, huh?
Yeah,
Well-behaved.
impressive. And if you've never seen one in person, they're huge. Yeah. They are frightening. They're like.
Did you have an elk encounter, Rob?
No, I've heard no. No. But I had a relative who lives out in Utah, my in-laws, and they had not a bad one, but got closer than they had planned.
Sure.
And they were like, "Oh my Lord, it's a huge animal." That's what I'm saying. Anyway.
Keep your distance from the elk.
Keep your distance, please. All right. We've all done it. Gone through our closets to get rid of clothes that no longer fit, that you don't like anymore, they're out of style, or you just don't wear anymore, whatever. And considering how fast kids grow, ain't that the truth? Their pile of threads can add up real quick. So what do you do with all that stuff?
Two moms are working out of their garage in San Antonio, Texas, to give their kids used apparel a whole new life.
Hi, I'm Kara. I'm Nicole. You say we are the co-founders, and I say hit me up with you. This is what happened last time.
Okay, let's ready. Hi, I'm Kara. I'm Nicole, and we're the co-founders of Hand Me Up.
All right. Okay.
Kara Livingston and Nicole Boynton are clearly good friends.
This thing is really cute.
Oh, I like that.
From high school to motherhood, they're now, as they put it, living the dream, cleaning and sorting children's clothes every day.
We curate secondhand kids' clothes and put them into mix and match bundles and have them shipped straight to you.
You can come to our website, and essentially all you have to do is put in your kid's size, what climate you want, basically hot or cold clothes, and their gender.
For $47, including shipping, you get 7 items of secondhand clothing.
Winning!
If you send them a backpack, let's say of clothes that no longer fit your child, you get $10 off.
There's a time period where they're growing really, really fast. And the crazy thing about waste and overconsumption is like they're not being worn but like three to 6 months. So there's more life in those textiles. Like they can still be used.
Hot climate, girl 6.
The idea came to these mothers because they say they got really interested in ethical fashion, wanting to make sure they weren't overbuying clothes.
Our whole goal is to give families a safe space where they can like send their clothes and know that we're going to do the best we can to get them to somebody that needs them and not into a trash can.
Oh, that's
Love
good
it.
stuff. Yeah.
Because kids do grow that fast. It's crazy. And two, why just trash it?
Right.
When it could serve so many other purposes in other people's lives.
Exactly. The repurposing, that is wonderful what these women are doing.
Yes. Yes.
Well, we've got some more very uplifting moments ahead for you, including a man using the power of art to try to revitalize his neighborhood.
Here's a question for you. Have you ever stopped on the side of the street just to admire a painting or a mural like the beautiful ones you see there?
Cities are hoping so. As Dan Grossman shows us, more of them are using the power of the arts to revitalize their neighborhoods.
I've learned to continue to see the world through fresh and new eyes. A lot of the tools that I use come out of graffiti culture.
On stagnant canvases, there are lessons to be learned.
Do I want to go that pink, or do I just want something similar?
Like even at the age of 53.
I think I'm gonna go with this color.
You're never too established to stop learning.
Very well established, I appreciate that. I still am not 100% certain that that's the case, but you know, that's what people keep telling me, so.
In Baltimore, Ernest Shaw is a household name among the city's many artists as his murals stand tall and proud for the eye to see and the soul to digest.
You know, mural making is vital when you talk about having an impact on the collective consciousness of community. A catalyst for growth, a mechanism by which, you know, people renew.
Renewal is a familiar term in Baltimore. Before it was known as the Station North Arts District, this area of the city where Shaw's studio resides was impoverished and downtrodden. But in 2002, it began using the arts to turn it into what it is today, a center for theaters, museums, and the Maryland Institute College of Art, the oldest independent university of art and design in the country.
The power of the arts is really embedded in the ways that it can transform communities. It impacts every single level of people's lives.
Jeannie Howe is with the Greater Baltimore Cultural Alliance and knows Baltimore is just one of the many examples where something as concrete as change can come from something as ethereal as this.
I view art as essential.
Abby Becker is the Station North Arts District manager and has seen the growth herself. But it's not just in Baltimore, Wynwood in Miami, the Richmond Arts District in Virginia, and the River North Art District in Denver are all places where art has created investment that has then fed those very artists.
I think it might be finished.
All the while ensuring core members of the community like Shaw are honored and respected as his studio sits in a building where other artists work.
It's really critical for us to preserve artist spaces, to shore up small businesses, and to just go out and support the people doing incredible work in your city.
Artists and art are the tips of the spear for any movement. I wouldn't give them credit for being the entire movement, but they're tips of the spear, meaning the flicker to the flame.
In this city, that flame burns bright as there are now 4 arts districts that have sprouted and flourished in just the last 2 decades.
But that'll work.
A lesson that Shaw, the lifetime student, now teaches.
Those murals, no matter the city, give beauty and character to a place. I love that.
Yes, same.
Yeah. We'll be right back. Welcome back, everybody. Well, check out this surfing sausage.
Yeah, somebody get that little dog a life jacket. How cute.
My wife would love this. She's a Dachshund aficionado. It's her favorite. I think that's a Dachshund, right?
Yeah.
Looks like it. Yeah. Oh, she would love it. I'll take this clip home with me.
Maybe being like low to the ground like that, they're better surfers than other dogs. Maybe, I don't know. Their legs are so
Those little
short.
legs and the way they walk.
Yeah.
Nice, low center of gravity. Yeah. Cute dogs. All right, well, join us tomorrow, everybody, to see how a school is giving their students a diverse education, all while helping refugee teachers.
Representation matters. So it's important that our students see figures in the classroom that they can relate to, who speaks their language, who shares their same customs.
All right, that's it for today, but we do want to hear from you.
Yeah, send us your ideas to our Facebook page. We'll see you back here tomorrow.